The camera flickered to life, casting a shaky glow over the dim basement walls cluttered with forgotten relics and dusty boxes. A group of 5 teenagers, Emma, Jake, Lily, Mark, and Sarah, had gathered here after school, drawn by the rumors of a hidden secret beneath Jake's house. Emma's flashlight swept over a cracked false wall near the stairs, and with a creak, Jake pried it open to reveal an old wooden box. Inside lay an ancient Ouija board, its letters faded and stained with age. The group exchanged nervous glances, but excitement won over fear. They cleared the dusty surface, arranged candles around the board, and placed their fingers lightly on the worn planchette. "Is anyone there?" Emma whispered, her voice trembling. At first, the planchette moved slowly, spelling out HELLO. They laughed nervously, thinking it was one of them pushing it. But then the messages changed. "I'm Tommy," it spelled. "Tommy?" Lily asked, puzzled. The group had no idea, but the name felt hauntingly familiar. The atmosphere grew colder, shadows stretching unnaturally along the cracked concrete walls. The planchette's answers became darker, HELP, DONTTRUST, and finally, SAV me. That night, Sarah woke drenched in sweat, hearing faint scratching on her bedroom walls. Nightmares clawed at her sleep, a little boy trapped in darkness, screaming silently. The next day, Mark found old newspaper clippings in the basement. A missing child named Tommy vanished without a trace in the 1950s near their town. The weight of the discovery pressed heavily on them. Back at Jake's basement, the group tried one more session, desperate to understand. Suddenly, the planchette jerked violently. Sarah's eyes glazed over, and a low growl escaped her lips. The spirit was no longer just communicating, it was taking control. Frightened but determined, Emma, Jake, Lily, and Mark knew they had to unravel Tommy's tragic past before the full moon, less than a week away. If they failed, Sarah would be lost forever to the darkness that had haunted the basement for decades. As the camera's battery began to die, the flickering light caught a message on the board, BLIEVE. The chilling reality was clear. Some pacts, once made, could never be broken. The cabin sat deep in the forest, far from the nearest town, shrouded in towering pines that whispered secrets with every gust of wind. Emily and Ryan had come here for a quiet weekend, hoping to escape their busy lives. The rustic charm of the cabin felt cozy at first, but as night fell, an eerie silence wrapped around them like a heavy blanket. Curious and a bit bored, Emily found an old Ouija board tucked away in a dusty cabinet. Ryan was hesitant but agreed to try it, thinking it would be a fun way to pass the time. They lit candles, their flickering flames casting long shadows against the wooden walls. Fingers trembling slightly, they placed their hands on the planchette. "Is anyone here?" Emily asked softly. The planchette moved slowly, spelling out words, HELLO. Ryan laughed nervously. "Probably just the wind." The messages continued, innocent at first, then strange and chilling. "Don't say GODBYE," it warned. Distracted by the creeping unease, they ended the session quickly, but in their rush, forgot the one crucial rule, to say goodbye. That night, the silence shattered with a sudden series of knocks, echoing from inside the walls. Emily jolted awake, heart pounding. Ryan tried to dismiss it as branches tapping the cabin, but the sound grew louder, more urgent. By morning, Ryan was gone. Emily searched frantically, calling his name through the forest, but only the wind replied. Desperation clawed at her chest when she noticed the bathroom mirror smeared with words, written backwards in the foggy glass, 3 days left. Days passed, each marked by new messages on every reflective surface, mirrors, windows, even her phone screen. The ominous countdown was impossible to ignore. Then came the sightings, something dark, moving just beyond the tree line. A grotesque silhouette, part shadow, part beast, watching her with glowing eyes. Emily's fear grew into terror. The entity had been unleashed when they failed to say goodbye, a malevolent force feeding on her dread. Trapped in the isolated cabin, Emily faced the impossible: uncover the creature's origin and break the cursed countdown, or join Ryan in vanishing without a trace. As the final day approached, the knocking returned, this time on the door. With nowhere left to run, Emily whispered the words they had forgotten, hoping to close the door on the nightmare before it was too late. The old gymnasium stood silent under the cold moonlight, its faded lines and rusted bleachers casting long, eerie shadows. A group of 5 students, Maya, Josh, Olivia, Ryan, and Nate, had snuck in after hours, drawn by the whispered rumors of a dark secret buried within these walls. Decades ago, a student had died here in a tragic accident, and since then, strange things had been reported, but no one dared investigate. Tonight, they planned to. Carrying a worn Ouija board, they gathered in a circle on the cracked wooden floor. Their breaths formed small clouds in the chill air as Josh lit a few candles, their flickering flames dancing nervously. "Let's see if the rumors are true," Maya said, voice barely above a whisper. With trembling fingers, they placed their hands on the planchette. It moved suddenly, spelling out a name, Blank. "No one knows who that is," Olivia muttered, uneasy. But the session continued, the spirit communicating cryptic warnings, TMEISRUNNGOUT. When they left the gym, unease clung to their skin like a second layer. The next day, Maya woke to a horrifying vision, herself, alone in a dark stairwell, falling to a broken heap below. The image was so vivid she could hear the echo of her own scream. Over the following days, each of the friends experienced similar visions, terrifying glimpses of their deaths, each eerily specific and impossible to ignore. Josh saw himself trapped in a locker room, the air thick with choking smoke. Olivia's vision showed her slipping on a wet floor, head hitting concrete. Ryan imagined a car crash on the deserted road outside town. Nate's was the most disturbing, a shadowy figure pulling him into darkness. One by one, the visions began to come true. Desperation set in. Maya researched the school's history and uncovered the truth about Mr. Blank, a nickname given to a janitor who had vanished mysteriously shortly after the student's death, rumored to have been involved in dark rituals. The countdown to their doom tightened with every hour. As the final day approached, the friends reunited in the gym, hoping to confront the spirit and break the curse. But the planchette spelled out only one chilling word: FAL. The shadows in the gym thickened, swallowing the candle's light. The school spirit was coming for them all. The dim glow of a single candle flickered against the peeling wallpaper of Anna's small apartment. The silence was heavy, broken only by the soft creak of the floorboards as she sat cross-legged on the floor, clutching an old Ouija board. The worn wood felt cold beneath her trembling fingers. Tonight, she wasn't just searching for answers, she was desperate to hear her sister's voice one last time. Her sister, Emily, had died suddenly 6 months ago, leaving a void Anna couldn't fill. Tears blurred her vision as she whispered, "Emily, if you're there, please talk to me." The planchette moved slowly at first, HELLO. Anna's breath caught in her throat. Was it really her sister? The board spelled comforting messages, easing her grief, promising she wasn't alone. Night after night, Anna returned to the board, clinging to these conversations. But as days passed, the messages twisted. "I'm still here," the board spelled. "Need you. Want to stay." The room grew colder, shadows lengthened unnaturally, seeming to crawl toward her. Anna's reflection in the cracked mirror flickered. For a brief moment, it wasn't her face staring back but something darker, hollow. Her friends noticed the change. Anna spoke less, her eyes distant and glazed. At times, her voice shifted, colder, more demanding. The entity wasn't her sister, it was something else, feeding on her sorrow, manipulating her mind. One night, the board spelled a chilling warning: "I need a vessel." Anna's hands clenched tight as she fought the rising panic. Memories blurred. Was she losing time? Did she truly want to let Emily go, or had the board's whispers taken control? In her isolation, Anna became unreliable, not just to those around her, but even to herself. The final night came with a storm howling outside, lightning flashing through the window. The board spelled out one last message: "Let me in." Her body convulsed, eyes rolling back. A cold voice whispered from her lips, no longer her own. Anna was no longer just a grieving sister. She had become a host, an unwilling vessel for a dark force craving the world beyond. The candle sputtered and died. Silence swallowed the room. The glow of the computer screen illuminated Jake's cluttered room as he prepared for his latest live stream. Known for debunking ghost stories and paranormal myths, he was confident tonight would be no different. Session 99, he joked to his viewers, setting up the Ouija board on the table in front of him. Thousands of viewers tuned in, the chat buzzing with excitement and skepticism. Jake smiled, brushing off nervous comments. "Alright, folks. Let's prove once and for all that this is all nonsense." He placed his fingers lightly on the planchette, inviting the spirit to respond. At first, nothing happened. Then, the lights flickered, a subtle glitch Jake dismissed as a power surge. "See? Nothing to worry about," he said, glancing at the chat where fans typed warnings and dares. Suddenly, the planchette slid across the board spelling, "HELLO." Jake laughed, skeptical but intrigued. "Alright, that's a little weird." The chat exploded, some claimed a prank, others begged him to stop. But the strange events escalated. The room's shadows twisted unnaturally behind him, audio distorted with eerie whispers barely audible. A cold draft swept past the microphone. The chat spammed, "Did you see that? Turn around. Stop." Jake's bravado faltered as the planchette spelled, "YOUREANGEREDME." The lights went out briefly, plunging the room into darkness. When the emergency bulbs flickered on, Jake was gone. The stream cut abruptly. The next day, Jake's channel uploaded a single video titled Session 99. It was raw footage from the live stream, but with disturbing additions, clips of shadowy figures moving behind Jake, garbled voices calling his name, and messages appearing in the chat seemingly from beyond the grave. Comments flooded in, mixing horror and disbelief. Fans speculated wildly: had he been possessed? Had the spirit followed him offline? Weeks passed. No sign of Jake. His social media fell silent. The last upload remained, a chilling warning that some doors, once opened online, can never be closed.